So for Men's Mental Health Month, I really been I've really been looking at just mental health as a whole in terms of, especially myself, as in terms of how I've dealt with things in the past, or how I talk about my emotions, or how I regulate my emotions, stuff like that. Just being kind of more even keeled, being more balanced in everything. And I thought about this especially because I was hanging out with my brother, and he was just asking me. He was like, "How are you? You can talk to me about anything. I'm here for you. You and your brother, me and my other brother." He's like, I think about you guys all the time, and just hope you're doing good." And it made me think, when I got home from the trip, it made me think about college, especially because in college I would mentor kids. I would go to schools. Obviously I did my tutoring stuff, but I also mentor kids and like build relationships with these young men about just different things in life. Obviously education is important, but also how do you feel? Like, how do you feel about everything? Do you feel good? Do you feel confident? Do you feel comfortable? Are you, emotionally stable? These are words that these boys these words don't register to them. They don't know what these words mean. Some of them come from broken homes. They don't have their dad at home. They have issues with their siblings or with their larger family. They have different health things going on. They have, financial things. They have a lot going on, right? These aren't kids that grow up in the best positions. So they have a lot going on, right? So I just talk to them, and some of the responses and some of the things that they would say is, you'd have to kind of be near it. You have to be active with these kids, or just talk to them to really understand what they're going through. Like, it's not as easy to just say, oh, it's not as easy to just like one solution kind of thing. It's pretty detailed, right? So I thought about that time in college when me and some of my classmates, would go to these schools and we'd just talk to kids and hang out with them. And you don't want to make it seem too like preachy, but you want to be able to say, oh, deal with this like this, deal with this like this, give them good advice, and then be on your way, right? Now I thought about myself. How did I think about my emotions as a kid? Like, looking back now, if I look back 10, 15 years, there's no way I would be like, oh, I handled that well, or I handled that, even for a kid. Sometimes I was like wild in my emotions. Like, and I was one of those people that I would always bottle things up, because not that I hate confrontation, but I hate when I express myself and the person takes it as like something else. Like, I'm just expressing myself to you. I want you to understand why I'm feeling. So I hated expressing myself, because every time I did it, not every time, but when I did it, people would be like, oh, why are you being so emotional about it? And I hate that word, because we always tell boys to express themselves, be open, talk about things. But then when they do it, you want to be like, oh, you're emotional. Stop crying like a girl. Stop all these things, like kind of push it back. And every time I think about this month, I think to like that time, and I think about young boys going through things like that. How are they going to grow up, to be around my age? Like, how are they going to process things? Are they going to be, bottle everything down all the way up until, like, you don't want to reach a certain age to where you now finally start opening up about things. You finally start talking about things. You want to talk about things from an early age, because it just helps. Like I said, experience is a good teacher, but it's better to know it younger. Better to have ways of dealing with it younger, so you don't have to go through some of the things that other men went through growing up, right? So I was one of those people that I didn't really know how to talk about things, or like I'll just talk about things the way they happen, or the way I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and this is a great example. I was talking to my mom about a relationship I had, and I asked her just like how to communicate better with women that I'm dating. And one thing she said, she was like, you can correct them, you can talk to them, you can basically say where they went wrong, but you have to package it in a certain way to where they can take it, right? You can't just be like, she did this, and I say that she did this. I have to say that she did it, but I have to say it in a way that's not so firm. Basically, be a little bit more tact with your words. And that's great. And that's helped me, obviously for from when I heard that, it's helped me in the future and being able to talk about my feelings, talk about my emotions, talk about different things that are bothering me without being so like I'm pushing it down. Right, and it helps. It helps being able to, because not just in relationships, but just in general, not always wanting to say what's on my mind the way it comes across, being able to like package it in a way that is more palatable for the person to receive it. But that's the main thing, receiving it. I feel like so many young boys and so many young men, maybe they don't know how to package it, but that still doesn't mean it shouldn't be received. That still doesn't mean it shouldn't be appreciated that they're opening up. You know, it shouldn't be an issue that you have something to say, something bothers you, somebody's hurt you, and you say it. It shouldn't, just because you don't say it right, the message should still be there, right? And I know it's something that's like a foreign concept, is like people want the message to be perfect. They want it to be packaged the best possible way. But sometimes people don't have the best possible way to package it yet. You know, they just want to be heard. You hear them and then tell them, okay, I hear you, but I would prefer you package it like this. I would prefer, and that's not you policing someone's emotion. That's not you telling somebody how they should speak. That's you just saying, this is the best way for us to communicate in our relationship, right? And it's so interesting because when I saw a post on my Instagram, I saw a post and it said, you know, men's mental health, to all the men that are in pain, to all the men that are going through something, to all the men that have thoughts of, you know, taking their lives or anything like that. Okay, cool. So we know these men exist. We know kind of what's going on, what they're experiencing, et cetera, et cetera. So now, are we going to do anything to change, or not change, but are we going to do anything to make it better for them, make it easier for them, right? Are we going to do anything to kind of alleviate the struggles or the things that they're going through, or help them? Or are we just going to have a month where, and even June isn't even, when you think about June, you don't think about Men's Mental Health Month. You know what I mean? It's mostly Pride Month that this month is about. Mental health is kind of on the back burner of this month. But still, if we're going to talk about it, why don't we figure out solutions or things to make men's lives easier, right? Not just acknowledge, oh, this is what's going on. And I made a point on my Instagram, and I talked about men that have been, I can't remember the exact words I used, but basically men that have been done wrong in relationships, men that are hurting as a result of the woman's actions in the relationship. And I posted that on my story, and I urged women to apologize, because let's say this, every time a relationship ends, people just assume, oh, what did he do? Or a guy tells people that, oh, me and her broke up, and people are like, oh, what did you do? Like, yes, it might be in jest, but why is it always that a guy's at fault? I know so many men that have been abused, that have been disrespected, that have been cheated on, that have been all these different things in relationships. And when I hear people say things like, "Oh, what did you do wrong?" It annoys me, because it's like, do you know what this guy has experienced? You know what this guy has gone through, and you're asking people, "Oh, what did he do wrong? Like, why did they break up?" Nobody ever wants to take a look at what the woman in the relationship did wrong. And this isn't supposed to be a man versus woman thing. It's supposed to be a men's mental health thing. So what are all the factors in men's mental health? Right? And I mentioned this on my story, and the way women were like, oh, I can never do anything wrong. Like, one girl was like, oh, it's probably his fault. There were people laughing in response, like, as if it was a joke. As if I was joking when I said men have been hurt by women, and these women have never taken accountability for these things. And obviously, yes, there's some instances where the man has hurt women and doesn't take accountability. But again, we're talking about men's mental health. So let's focus on the thing at hand. Like, let's not deflect it or whatever. Let's focus on all the things that affect men's mental health, right? There are also some of the things that affect women's mental health, but let's focus on the men. Give them 1 month out of the year. Give them 1 month out of the year to talk about themselves, right? How many men get you get a day in the year to be all about yourself. And even sometimes people make it more about them than they make it about you. You get one day in the whole year. Other than that, every other day is geared towards somebody else. But we get 1 month to talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about all the things that come with it. Because when I think about it, I always think about young boys and how it affects them. Because if we don't talk about it now, 10, 15 years, when they grow up, they're going to have the same experiences. It's going to be a consistent cycle of men never being able to regulate their emotions, never being able to talk about how they feel, never being able to be vulnerable with just in general. But that's what we want. We're not saying we want men to be these over emotional beings or these, crying everywhere. Nothing like that. Just talk. To be able to talk more and express what they're feeling more and be more comfortable and confident that the people that are on the receiving end of what they're saying will acknowledge what they're saying, and do whatever needs to be done to rectify situations, right? But we want them to talk. That's the main thing. So that whole conversation, my brother, it wasn't really a conversation. He asked a couple questions. I was like, yeah, I'm good. But it sparked a thought in my head. It sparked, some memories and things that I've experienced or I've heard young boys experience. And yeah, we talk about the woman aspect, but we have to talk about the parental aspect, right? Especially with these young boys. Just the pain of the trauma of childhood trauma. Like even us in our 20s, if you're watching this video, you're older, 30s, 40s, whatever, some people still have those things. So it's not something that just goes away. You have to tackle it. You have to understand it and talk about it. And some of these boys don't know how to do that. They don't even know what's wrong. Some of them think it's okay, the things they experience, but it's not. Right? The bullying that goes on, and it's so funny because, especially in this social media age, the bullying used to be something that once you got out of school, it stopped. You only experience bullying in school. Maybe some people around other schools heard it and whatever, and they talked about it. But now it's like, if you get bullied in school, the whole world can hear about it. Everybody can, and people will jump on it. And people never seem to take it seriously. No matter how light it is, it's always lighthearted. It's never, but they don't talk about it. They don't find an issue with it. Bullying, family, relationships, finances, how much of a strain it is just not having money, and how it affects people's mental health. All these different topics, and this is the month. Okay, if we want to give a month to it, we want to say this is the month for this, then let's talk about it, and let's not make jokes. Let's not, take it lightly. Let's not, because it's serious. People are losing lives. People are losing relationships. It has serious consequences, so we should take it as something that's serious, right? So that's been my whole thoughts for the last couple of days. It's just what is going on with men, and especially what's going on with young boys. Are they actually feeling safe? Are they actually feeling that they can talk about the things that are going on in their lives? And the answer is probably not. Because, like I said about what I posted on my Instagram story, it was met with jokes. It was not taken seriously. But it is a serious thing. So that's all I have to say. I hope, and I pray and wish that we can take the emotions of men, the health of men, more seriously, right? Because if we want to say that they play a valuable role in our society and all these things, and we care about them and we love them, then let's actually do what needs to be done. But yeah, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, share this video, leave a comment below on what you think, and I'd love to see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much. God bless you, and bye.